I believe so. I believe that there are natural singularities that occur in the area. And singularities are more or less portals, like the Stargate TV series. They have a singularity that creates a wormhole which connects them to different parts of the universe. And at times, they've also led to different realities. And I believe that this is more of a reality than we would like to believe it. Stargate, the writers got their idea from this new theoretical physics which predicts the existence of these natural forming or possibly induced wormholes that allow universes and even other dimensions to overlap with ours.
Have you ever come across any evidence that our governments may have the knowledge or ability to go to any of these areas and actually go through them ourselves, or is it just people coming from the other side, or beings coming from the other side?
Yeah, it's good. It's interesting that you asked me that question because I have, and I have no documentation or evidence, but it involves a story of an admiral who's now in the intelligence organization, and to really explain this story would require, telling you something of my earlier background, which was involved with during the Vietnam War, attached to an assignment in Southeast Asia that involved military intelligence. And as a result, I had security clearance back then. Today, I have no involvement with the United States military or the intelligence organizations, even though some UFO investigators often accuse me of being a plant for that, which is totally ridiculous. But this particular individual came up to me and he said he knew about my background, and I was involved in education. As a matter of fact, his son was in one of my classes, in one of my college classes. And he wanted to meet me because he read some of my material. He says, "You must know about the Dr. So-and-so's, I'm not going to mention the name, but the Stargate program." I said, "No." And he made a comment saying that the Stargate program on TV is actually based on a real project in Cheyenne Mountain, where our government and the military has found a way to create artificial wormholes and travel to different areas. And this was going on already. And I was quite surprised to hear that.
And did you feel that was very credible?
I felt it was credible because he thought I knew about the program. And this was a particular individual. It's interesting because whoever's involved with his son and his family, he has extensive background checks done on him because of his connection with naval intelligence. He has the rank of admiral, and he did an extensive background check on me and came back with all of this stuff from my past military experience, and he was fascinated with some of the stuff I was writing about, and he assumed that I already had this information, but I thought it was very credible, and, I wouldn't doubt it. It's just an interesting thing to think about.
It's a very exciting concept to me.
I know, and the funny thing is the Stargate program on Sci-Fi, which is in reruns now, they have a particular show called Wormhole X, in which somebody on the outside on TV found out that there was a Stargate program and represented it on TV. He said the same thing is happening with the Stargate program. Somebody found out about it, and that they're having it on TV, and that the government was allowing the Sci-Fi Channel to do the Stargate thing because if people see it on TV, on Sci-Fi, and if they hear rumors about something that the government's doing in a real-life Stargate, they'll think that, somebody's overactive imagination because it can't be real because it's on TV, on Sci-Fi. So the government has often used things like that to cover up their tracks. For example, the late Bob Pratt, who co-authored Night Siege with me, used to work for the Enquirer. And he told me that the Enquirer was CIA-funded, and that for example, if you hear something on the radio or TV about an alien landing, a spacecraft landing somewhere and aliens getting out, and you don't hear anything about that anymore, but it interests you. Perhaps it leaked out, let's say, and the media was silenced. But the next day, let's say, or a week later, you're in the supermarket, and you see aliens land in California, they bring back Elvis, and you say, that's what I heard on the radio about aliens in California, but they make the story sound so ridiculous. People look at it and it's the Enquirer and they laugh about it and they say it was just a farce. Nobody believes it. But the CIA and the intelligence organizations have used media like the Enquirer and other tabloids to cover up their activities by mixing the lies with the truth. And it worked for many years as a very efficient tool to cover up the UFO phenomena.
Well, they do
to make it sound so ridiculous.
Right, and mockery can sometimes be a very, very good form of attack, a very subtle but very effective.
Definitely.
Philip, what are you working on right now? What's the main research you're doing?
Well, the research that I'm doing now is I'm working more on the idea of this intelligence from this other dimension that's very close to us. And I'm also doing a lot of field work with a number of people who are involved in paranormal research out in these areas where the stone chambers are, because so many people have experiences there that are incredible. And we're going out there to use UV film, ultraviolet film. We're going to work with EVP, electronic voice phenomena there, try to document that these areas do indeed mark portals to another world or dimension. We're going to spend the night out there and collect a bunch of documented evidence. I've devised a number of instruments. You know, it's one of the benefits of going to MIT. You know, you learn how to do all this stuff. But I've devised an instrument which could actually pick up portals being opened up in an area. And it's not so fantastic as it sounds, because when energy is released in these portal opens, and it does take energy, the atoms around our area become ionized and they emit electrons. These high-speed electrons could be picked up by a number of devices, and I actually have built 2 of them. And also photography. There are a lot of things going on that come in and out of these parallel universes that emit electromagnetic radiation that's invisible to our eye. I actually designed a filter with a dielectric coating which actually allows a very narrow area of the spectrum in the hydrogen beta area, which I believe this phenomena emits, to go through the filter. It gets stepped down and to a frequency where it can be recorded on standard digital film. I've already had some bizarre anomalies appear on the digital film from the use of this particular type of dielectric filter. So I'm anxious to use that in the field also to see what we're going to pick up. But we're doing a variety of experiments over several days at these locations to fully document. We have loads and loads of people's experiences there. So we picked the best locations in which the most experiences are taking place. Plus, we'll be out there doing measurements with laser technology, and we'll be out there with electromagnetic detectors and so on, trying to deduce the changes in the electromagnetic fields. So we're going to be doing not only paranormal research there, psychic research there, but we're also going to be doing scientific research with new techniques to try to document this phenomena. And we're also going out there with a psychic that I've worked with over the past number of years who is very talented and convinced me that she does in fact have psychic abilities, because she was able to detect these magnetic fields in these locations before we did the magnetometer studies, and she indicated exactly where these magnetic anomalies are focused before we did the magnetometer studies, and she was right on the mark, like an inch or 2 from the actual anomaly. So I'm quite excited about this research, and some of the people that I put together to help me with this research are excited about it too, because we're entering a new frontier. And as Dr. Hynek said, paranormal phenomena, UFOs, may actually be our science of the 22nd century. And now, like Galileo and Tycho Brahe